Hello, everyone. This is the greatest podcast in the universe. I'm your host, Fraser LeVay, InspireTravelEat.com, and people who follow me on social media are sick fucks. I did a poll about what podcast you want next. Is Costa Rica the best place to travel on Earth? Is best 3 places I've ever been? Something else. And then another poll option was stories about the 9 times I thought I was going to die. That was an overwhelming favorite. So I hate you all. And it sucks because it's like I'm sure at least 10% of you actually want me to die, on camera, just for good content. Where are we going as a society? I don't know. I guess I'd rather be loved and hated than be, I don't know, Kirk Cousins, his mediocre ass, just kind of willy-nilly through his football career, not winning, kind of winning. I don't know. I hate him. I don't hate him. I just don't like him as the leader of the football team I support. It's like you can like someone, he seems like a really nice guy. I appreciate him. I like him as a human being. I just hate him. Imagine your, I don't know, husband or wife. You love them, you support them, but divorce rates are still 50%, you know? I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist, but my 2 cents. Anyways, I'm starting this off as a warning. This is going to be the 8 times actually I thought I was going to die. Then there's 4 that weren't really that much, but still decent stories. As a warning to all young males, you aren't invincible. We all think we're invincible until we're not. And when you're not, that's really scary. Shit, now I don't even know. Is that sexist to say? Young males think they're invincible? Is some fucking guy from Oregon named, I don't know, what's an Oregon name? Peters? Peters, but he has an S, Peters. Or Gavin Newsom. He's gonna be like, women think they're invincible too. All right, bitch. I'm just saying that young men are dumber and more ignorant and arrogant than young females typically. Can we agree on that? Women are smarter earlier and develop quicker, and they make less dumbass decisions. Surely that's okay, right? Except for I had an ex who dated my stalker. I have a full-fledged male stalker, and then she dated him right after me. She took the bait, so she probably falls into that dumb category. Respectfully, not even respectfully, it was just a dumb decision, and she clearly regretted it, as you can tell from the fallout of losing all. I won't get into her laundry, but anyways, everything came up Millhouse in that one. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, if I get one more dumb YouTube comment about it's trolling me, as you can tell, I've been getting trolled lately. Now I've gotten some people listening. People love to troll, so I guess that's a good thing. This fucking gold prospector trolled me for having ads on my website. Settle down, Jebediah. Why don't you worry about polio vaccines or some shit before you start attacking me for marketing and advertising and trying to make a living? I'm sorry there weren't commercials when you're panning for gold in the Klondike, you dickhead. Don't take your anger on the future out on me. But I guess you can. And you did. Well played, Jebediah. Well played. Let's get into this. I will try. Oh, there is. Oh, no. Only 8. There's 8 times I literally thought, okay, I could die here. A good chance. Some are actually really scary. Some are funny. Most are all pretty scary, actually, when I think about them. Number 1, most everyone who knows me and who's listened to this podcast knows my Mexico City story. So I won't go into that one because they've heard it. It's a long one. It's at length. Go to one of the earlier podcasts I did on Mexico City. You can hear the whole story there. If you haven't heard the story, here's a teaser. I got beaten up and robbed by corrupt police officers in Mexico City. They also tried to take $6,000 out of my bank account. And I ran through the streets of Mexico City terrified for hours and hid under a car and they told me that if I didn't give them my PIN number to everything, they were going to make sure no one ever like knew where I went ever again. So that was really scary. I love Mexico City, by the way. It's one of the coolest cities on earth. It was just bad luck, which I mean, shit, like bad luck in Phoenix. I don't know, you stub your toe maybe. You don't really get abducted by, or not abducted, but beaten up by, kind of abducted. Attempted abduction by police. No, I mean, fuck that. There's like a car accident and a shooting in Phoenix every day. Shooting's more on the west side. I don't really go over to the west side. I don't hit the avenues for that reason. All respect to the avenues, but I'm not going there. Sorry. As you know, I avoid places getting shot. So on the last podcast or a couple before, I said I'm never going to a place where you have to use a key for a bathroom or a PIN code to get into a bathroom, because that's just, it's just not a good place. I'm done with it. I'm done with those type of establishments. I'm too old to go out getting shot up at Chili's in the avenues. Anyways, it's a Mexico City story. That's one. Go back. It's on one of my other podcasts, like the 4th or 5th one or something like that. You just titled Mexico City. You can search it. Number 2. So I'm in the Amazon on like the most well-known river. I'd say that and the Nile are probably like two of the most notorious rivers for like shit that can kill you in the river. And we're on a crocodile hunt in the middle of the night. And because you do that so they can shine lights on the eyes and find them. And there's also anacondas in this river, piranhas, some fish I don't even know about are in this river. So we're doing the crocodile search, and we're going, and we go down the river, we find crocodiles and blah, 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 and some other things. And then we turn the boat around to go back up the river. And again, it's pitch black. I'm with like a family, I think, and maybe like an older couple on this tour. And it's in a boat, like it's basically a kayak, a large kayak with a motor on the back. So it's not like I'm in like a nice boat. I mean, it's a really cool boat. I love these boats because it's very authentic. But it adds to the lack of safety that we're about to come to. So we're in the middle of the river, speeding along, and all of a sudden, boom, and we all almost like fly out the front, out the sides. We hit a sandbar in the middle of the Amazon River in the middle of the night. And so what do we do? What do my tour guides do? And there's only like 2 of them, and they're pretty tiny. And so they're trying to push us off the sandbar. It's not happening. And like 20 minutes goes by, they're looking, they're calling like for help. Nothing's happening. As we're stuck in the middle of the Amazon River. And I guess it's the Amazon too. So it's like there's too much weight, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to get out, aren't I? Because obviously I'm chubby according to Garvey and my aunts. So hopefully my weight will help us push this off. And also I'm obviously gonna have to try and push this off because our guide is like 80 pounds soaking wet. So I get out, standing on the sandbar in the middle of the Amazon, and like I go to the front, and like out of a Looney Tunes, I just drop. Like I go underwater. I stepped off the sandbar that they didn't tell me about. So I terrified. I literally fall deep off a sandbar cliff in the middle of the Amazon River. Crocodiles, anacondas, piranhas, whatever else. Terrified. Also, I'm one of those people that thinks there's sharks in the pool when you close your eyes. So, I mean, for all I know, there's probably a great white shark in there too. If there's one in a pool, there has to be one in the Amazon. So we're pushing. It was scary. After a while, we finally got, like, we pushed, got the kayak off the sandbar, didn't die. But when I fell off the edge of that sandbar, whoa, I thought it was over. Cancel Christmas. And even just standing on the sandbar, that was terrifying. Like, this is just, I was going to end up on a viral video of stupid Canadian in the Amazon River gets attacked by alligator. Why was he in the water? There's no backstory when they post that video. They just see me standing in the stupidest place to stand on earth. So they would think I deserved it when I was just trying to help because the old couple wasn't pushing it. And the family, I'm not watching that as, Stuart gets out, tries to push his family out, and he dies right in front of his kids. What will I do then? I can't live with that. Do I have to raise the children and marry the wife as my own? You didn't think about that, did you? No. Number 2. This one's just a quick story. That one's not as fun. I go to hiking Humphreys Peak in Arizona. It's the highest peak in all of Arizona. Whoever's done it knows it's outrageously hard. I went with 2 friends. They both turned back. I probably would have turned back if I didn't have a hiking website, and my friends never would have let me hear the end of it if I didn't actually hike to the top of this thing. And it's after my birthday, and I had a big party in Flagstaff with a bunch of friends. Came up, and we got a hotel and spent all night out. So I'm hungover. Not the best hike to do hungover. Probably the worst hike in Arizona to do hungover. Maybe Havasupai is worse, but no, this is worse. And so I was like, fuck me. And I think I had like a little sandwich. I had a decent amount of water, but not much. I was the only one to go to the top that day because it was nasty. And I was at the top. I even went pee, and like the wind just threw it everywhere. I didn't know where it landed. It was warm, so that was good. Like that itself was frightening. And then I walked down this one little area, but like basically this isn't the part that I was worried about dying the most. It was almost there. But I went down this wrong side because you kind of get turned around, and it was like shaly and slipped, and then I had to go back up. But like, had I rolled an ankle or like sprained it, I don't think I had any phone service. This is really dumb what I did. This is one of the dumber things I've done. But I had to do it. So yeah, if I like messed up my ankle or my knee, it was done. Like there was no getting me. I had no way to contact anyone. This was really dumb. Don't do this. Make sure you always hike with someone. But I did hike with 2 people, and they both ditched an hour before. So anyways, as I'm going down, it's getting dark. And on the way up, we passed through this meadow that was out of the Shire. It was beautiful, like all these trees. Yes, that's 2 Harry Potter references. Or sorry, 2 Lord of the Rings references in 3 minutes. I'm going to stay in Hobbit houses next week in Guatemala. I'm very excited. So love Lord of the Rings. Don't judge me. Anyways, I'm going through the Shire, and there's these giant trees that are like just swaying, and they're like these creak, and like all the leaves are on the ground, and it was so pretty. It was at fall, so like all the colors and the swaying trees were like just making these nice creaky sounds. Like it just was a great ambiance to start this hike for the first hour you go through this. So on the way down in pitch black, I'm the only person on the mountain for the last 2 hours, maybe 3. Like everyone else is gone, and I hit darkness, and I've got my flashlight on my phone, and my phone dies because I've whatever. The once cool meadow of creaky trees, the trees now sound like babies crying, like the scariest Blair Witch shit you've ever been in. Is that's not the sound. It was scary. Like it was the most awful sound I can think of. And as I'm walking in the pitch black, listening to this, out of nowhere, just like an explosion of something jumping, taking off, running, something enormous, like 10, 15 feet away from me, like of rocks and broken branches and all else. Just like some enormous animal was 15 feet from me and just took off either towards me or away from me. Obviously, it wasn't towards me because I'm still here. Now, I'm 90% sure it's probably a deer, even 95. But deers aren't typically alone. Could have been an elk. But when you're all alone and you already almost died at the top of Mordor. You're freezing cold, hungry, beat the shit. Mind's playing tricks on you with the crying babies in the trees. You don't know what animal that is. So for the next hour, I'm walking in the pitch black thinking I'm being stalked by like a mountain lion, a bear. I'm doing that thing that Bear Grylls does where he goes, "Hey, bear, bear," and you just keep on yelling out. So hopefully it's more scared of you. But that was a fucking terrifying like hour plus. Because who knows what's watching me, what's behind me, what's around me. So half almost died at the top, could have. That was life threatening. And then this was just terrifying. Also, what do we have next? Oh, something fun. The Happy Pizza story. You may have heard the Happy Pizza story if you listen to my Cambodia. But all right, I'll give you a quick one before the Happy Pizza in case you've already listened to the Happy Pizza story. Also in Peru, I went to hike Machu Picchu, and on the Inca Trail, we literally stopped and 15 at this. Thank God I was with people who needed a rest, so we stopped at this little corner, and had we kept on walking, this is not exaggeration whatsoever. The rock fall that happened, we would have been right there. Now I assume I could have probably ran. Like once I saw it was coming, I definitely would have ran away. But and probably made it. Like 90% sure. But anyways, like a massive rock slide happened right in front of us. It was outrageous, and it beat like the trail, just knocked it all off the side of the hill. It was someone in our group definitely would have died. It wouldn't have been me, knock on wood, but someone was gone. And they're all nice people too, so I'm glad. There was like a pregnant lady, a nice family. So that one wasn't that scary, but it was interesting. They're like, oh wow, had we not stopped, that could have been dangerous. A scary one that's not as good of a story was just surfing in Brazil. I almost drowned. And the short thing on that, it was like it wasn't even it was a big wave, but not like anything outrageous because I'm not that good of a surfer. But it was in it was near Rio, and it's this really good Praia, I think it's called. I think it's Praia Beach, like hours from Rio. One of the prettiest places and like the best places to surf near Rio. And so I got hit by this wave and I kind of went under, and it was a really deep, like sometimes waves you do beach breaks and sometimes you do breaks that are like further out from coral or whatever the fuck else reason that there's deeper breaks. So it's pretty deep water when you're out there versus like you get hit and you just kind of know where the sand is. So I get hit by this wave or I fall off this wave and it kind of like takes me down. I'm like, all right. And I like swim to go up, and like I go up, but I'm not going up. And like I got turned around. This wave like threw me around. Sorry, so let me start there, like in circles, and no idea where I am. Well, obviously I know where I am, but which way I'm going. So I start swimming, swim, nothing. Shit, I turn around, swim, nothing. Shit, I go down, I go up. I start swimming every direction, and I have no idea which direction is up. And again, I was kind of by myself off to the like side a little bit. It wasn't really a busy day anyways, but it's a huge area, so no one's really around me. And yeah, like I went to like grab my leash to like find it once I kind of realized that would be a good idea, and like couldn't figure anything out. And finally I just like I did that thing where you take like gulps in your lungs to try and get like the maximum air you can get. And I've never been in that point in my life. Like I was at the point past holding my breath that I've ever been in my entire life. It was very like I think the next second or 3 seconds that's where you pass out, because I've never gone anywhere close to where I was. And I just kind of let go, and I was like, fuck, hopefully I like float up. And sure enough, I like floated up, hope just in the nick of time, I assume. And I gulped air just as another giant wave hit me and threw me around again. So I went back down. This time I was a little bit better off, and like, but still holding on. Like my air holding was at its maximum. The first time was the worst. Second time wasn't great either, but not as bad. So that definitely, I thought I was gonna drown, hands down. Like that was terrifying. Like I'm getting chills thinking about that one. Um, Nicaragua, again, didn't think I was going to die, but easily could have. I was with Stu, Jason, and we were two times. One, we had giant spiders in our eco whatever places. Spiders were like fucking National Geographic motherfuckers. They're great, so scary. I didn't really think I was gonna die from them, but that was scary. That's not the part where I thought I could have died. We went on a boat cruise, and we were sitting on the front, and I think they started cutting up fruit or something, or drinks came out like hours. This is near the end of the boat cruise, snorkeling, all that kind of stuff. And out of nowhere, all the wires that were holding up the mast, it was a sailboat, just snapped and took off. Like I think one broke, and so that meant they all went, and the mast broke in half. Not only did the mast land exactly where we were sitting a minute, 2 minutes before this, Stu and Jason will verify, the wires that like snapped off the side of the boat, those could have like taken anyone's head off. I'm surprised no one got hit by those, because there's a lot of people on the boat, and we should have died from the mast breaking, and at least 2 people should have died from those wires, like full decapitation. So that was kind of scary. There was also a time in Thailand. Oh, also Nicaragua. We went on a ferry boat, to go across this lake to this island where we stayed in the eco lodge that was awful, with the giant spiders and the weird hippies who ran the place. Nothing against hippies. These hippies were super weird. We thought they could kill us too. The lake was like, we were sitting on bags of wheat and grains and rice, not chairs. And we thought like we were going over. There's water spilling in the sides, like our feet are soaking wet. There's tons of water in the boat. It's like this old ferry rocking back and forth. That was a rough one. That was scary. So all the Nicaragua trip, there's a lot of heightened senses going on. Same thing happened in Thailand. Here's another one where we thought like we were going from Phuket to Koh Phi Phi, I think, or Koh Phangan, whichever one's on that side. I think it's Koh Phi Phi. And same thing, tiny little like rowboaty type, not rowboat, tugboaty thing, ferry boat. Water coming in everywhere, terrible storm, shitty little boat. It was one of the scarier storms I've ever been in. So that was bad. But I could go in more in detail, but that just, you can imagine. So that was another time. So then a Happy Pizza. Happy Pizza. Sorry, someone's calling me. Let me delete that. And it sounds like there is people outside my house doing landscaping. So I may have to cancel this and do a part 2, so you don't hear this the whole time. Part 2, I'll just actually throw Happy Pizza. I've got the Happy Pizza story in the Cambodia, what do you call it, podcast. So check the Cambodia podcast with Bobby, not the one I did on my own, not the Angkor Wat podcast, the one with Bobby. Happy Pizza was a drug pizza that we thought we were going to die. It's a great story. It's a long one. I would tell it right now if there wasn't landscapers outside. India, just in general, you always think you're going to die. People don't smile there. It's very scary. We got extorted once, me and Trey. Also, our first day in India, we were like at this our hotel, and the second we stepped out, it's all security. You get patted down when you go in, and then when we left, you kind of get like go through like metal detectors and stuff. As we leave, just explosions and firecrackers that we thought were gunshots. It was a funeral that they were celebrating, but they were like, we thought they had firecrackers and little mini bomb things, and we thought this was it. That was scary as hell. It was like our first day in India, so that was scary. I go into my other ones, but those are like the meat, because I don't want you to have to listen to this damn person outside my place. Yeah, inspiretravelite.com. I hope you enjoyed. I can go into more detail on these stories if you ever want when we talk. I gave you the rundown. Fraser LeVay, this is the best travel podcast in the universe. Talk to you soon.